All right, welcome in. Mount Plumbus speaks here. Do a little live watch party. University of Colorado takes on Kansas out at Arrowhead, and things are not off to an awesome start for the Buffs. Kansas just scores to go up 10-0, and I was freaking nervous about this game coming into this thing. This Kansas football team is red freaking hot. Red hot, man. I mean, 2 weeks ago, they smoked Iowa State. Let's hold on real quick. Let me look at this. This game has made me nervous all week. They have to stop the run. Yeah. Kansas offensive coordinator is dude named Jeff Grimes. He was my offensive line coach at CU my senior year. I owe a lot to Jeff Grimes. I honestly don't think I ever make the NFL without Jeff Grimes. He's committed to running the football and does not have the most athletic offensive line. Shut up, Bob. Good to see you, Bob, but you can shut your face. He is committed to running the football, and he does it in ways that are a little bit unique, very creative in the running game. If you watch the offensive linemen, they've got super wide spreads. They'll go hash mark to hash mark at times when they're lining up. So he tries to create huge holes just by the spacing of his offensive line, and it's a very effective tool that he utilizes. I remember the first time he made us do that. I was like, it was like radical to me. I felt like I was playing for Texas Tech, but it is a nice little cheat code you get in the running game. But this Kansas team is red freaking hot. Coming off BYU, number 14 team in the country, beat them 17-3, beat Iowa State 45-36, and they barely lost to Kansas State the week before that, 29-27. This is a team that coming into the season, many people had them as favorites to win the Big 12. So they took their time figuring things out, and they figured it out. They got to win their final two games to be a bowl team, and the Buffs need to win their final two to make it to the Big 12 championship. So huge implications online out here in Kansas. There is a scenario in which Colorado could lock in the Big 12 championship today, guarantee themselves a berth if they get the win. And I think they need BYU and Iowa State to both lose. And if that were to happen, the Buffs would have a guaranteed berth to the Big 12 championship. The problem with this matchup is that Kansas likes to eat up the clock. They run the ball very, very well. They'll run it on third and long. They'll run it on third and short. And Colorado's offense, sometimes it takes them some time to get into a rhythm. And when you're sitting on the bench for so long, that usually is not a good thing for Colorado's offense. Sometimes it'll take them 3-4 different series to get a game rolling. I was this close to driving out to Kansas City for this game. At the end of the day, I decided I've driven that highway one too many times in my life, and I've played in that stadium enough times in my life. Oh, thank you, Aaron. Bob. Aaron is Bob's. Well, Aaron's attracted to me, is what Aaron is. I hope Colorado isn't reading the headlines, man, because this game, this game's had me nervous for weeks. Kansas is the hottest team in the Big 12. Crazy to say for a team that's only got 4 wins, but if you're just looking at the last 2 weeks, they are. I don't know if you guys been following the Heisman odds. I'm going to pull it up here really quick. But Travis Hunter is now far and away the favorite to win the Heisman. Let's see. All right, so the current Heisman odds have got Travis Hunter listed at minus 400. Then that's like, then there's a huge gap. Ashton Jeanty from Boise State, he's listed at plus 400. That's the second closest. Cam Ward's listed at plus 1500. And Shedeur Sanders doesn't even make the list, which I had always said. I said this by week one. I never thought Shedeur Sanders had a chance of winning the Heisman this year because if Shedeur was having a fantastic season, guess what that means? Travis Hunter would be doing something so unique. It would be such a unicorn moment that has never happened in the history of the NFL that if Shedeur Sanders is having a Heisman worthy season, well, all that means is Travis Hunter is going to look that much more spectacular playing on both sides of the ball. So I never thought Shedeur could win the Heisman, but to see Curtis Rourke from Indiana, who they just got smoked by Ohio State today. There's a few names on that list I roll my eyes at. Shedeur's not even on the list. All right, this is a big drive for the bus, man. They need to settle down. All right. 1st and 10 to 2nd and 7. I used to love playing at Kansas. They had great hecklers, but they're only great because you could hear every last word that they said. When we would play at Kansas, there'd be like 20 bodies in the stadium. But they had great hecklers. I'll never forget, I had a dude named Jack Tipton. Jack Tipton and I were backup offensive linemen playing at the University of Kansas. You could hear every last word they're saying. Dudes go, "Hey, Tipton." We're both backup offensive linemen, right? "Hey, Tipton, I got a tip for you. Get your fat ass on a bike." I'll never forget those dudes. They were freaking hilarious. God dang. At some point, we got to try to run the football here. Gonna get lucky with a horse collar, I think. There are so many teams in college football right now that are overdoing the uniform thing, and this uniform combo from Kansas right now, ugh. Prime example of trying to do too much. I thought Colorado did that last year, but Colorado's uniforms this year have been ridiculous. Yeah, Colorado got a freebie there. That was a clean tackle. That definitely is not a horse collar. Stop cheating, Kansas. This is what worries me, though, when you've got a team in Kansas who wants to run the football, and when Colorado's trying to get into rhythm, they don't run the football well. That's a bad recipe. I'm a born patriot, Bob. I don't like that red, white, and blue. I'll tell you that much. Colorado lands Julian Lewis, a 5-star recruit, quarterback out of Georgia, a couple days ago. if you look at the various rankings, it's kind of all over the place on this kid. ESPN has got Juju Lewis listed as the number 2 overall recruit in the country. Other outlets like 24/7 and On3 Sports, they've got Juju as like the 9th best quarterback in the country. So definitely a huge variation of opinions on the young man, but a huge pickup for the Buffs. And maybe more important than anything, I think it quiets down all the Dion speculation. First off, Juju flips from USC, so that's 2 years in a row that Colorado's been able to get some USC commits to flip. And there's another offensive tackle, Cade something, I'm drawing a blank on his name, who is currently committed to USC that is allegedly going to flip with Juju. When you land a blue chip guy like Julian Lewis, now all of a sudden the floodgates are going to open and other dudes are going to follow in with him. But maybe more than anything, you couldn't turn on a TV the last 2 weeks without seeing speculation of Deion Sanders to the Cowboys, Deion Sanders to the Raiders. And these national outlets, I mean, they literally have got like mandates. Hey, we have to talk about the Lakers X amount of times. We have to talk about the Cowboys X amount of times. We got to talk about Deion Sanders X amount of times. So it's the perfect formula for TV ratings gold. I never thought Deion was going to leave, easy for me to say. But I always admitted that if the right team, and for me, the right team is more the Raiders than the Cowboys, if the right team were to come and be like, hey, we've got the number 1 overall pick, we can guarantee that you could draft your son. Dude, that'd be pretty freaking hard for any dad to say no to. So I still think it's a possibility that Deion leaves, but look, man, Deion's got to sit down with Julian Lewis's dad, his mother. I don't know what the family dynamic is, but he's got to sit down with this kid's parents, and they're asking him, "Are you going anywhere?" And unless he's just outright lying to him, it would appear he convinced them he wasn't going anywhere. Deion certainly would not be the first coach that said he was staying put and then left, though. I watched like a 15 or 30-minute long highlight reel on Julian Lewis, and my comp for him is Bryce Young. A little bit undersized. He's listed at 6'1.5", 6'1", depending on which outlet you look at. So not the tallest dude in the world. Great processor, gets rid of the ball on time. There's fun clips of the kid floating around when he was 14 years old, working out with, oh my gosh, CJ Stroud and a few other NFL players, and they're blown away by the kid at 14 years old. But a little bit undersized. Bryce Young might feel like a bad comp based off the NFL career, but the college career was a hell of a career. God dang, why are we falling down? I didn't know we had a tight end on the team, to be honest. I think you're in the go zone here, though. I think this is 4 down territory. They get stopped on 3rd and short, 4th and 2. Anytime you get past the 50 in college football, you're more or less in 4 down territory. Yeah, they're going to stay on the field. And I don't think we get it. Damn it. Oh my God. Really need the defense to step up now. God dang. Colorado can get 0 momentum going here. I don't love running the football there. You got to know what you are. You're not a running football team. Put the ball in there. Use your best weapons. I don't like that play call, especially out of the gun. I hate gun runs. Are they checking the spot on this? Why are they checking the spot? That wasn't even close. I mean, are you blind? We just had to waste 2.5 minutes of game time for you to measure that? Kansas has got a hell of a corner duo. Kobe Bryant is a corner for Kansas, spelled a little bit differently. I think he spells it with a C. That dude's one of the best corners in college football. He's been talking a lot this week, but I didn't think he was talking trash. I thought he was talking in a respectful way. He kept talking about how this is the game. He can't wait to play Travis Hunter. That was respectful trash talk. Weird having a Colorado game in the middle of the day, though. I'll tell you that much. I went to the 10 a.m. start last weekend against Utah. They've had extremes. They've either been extremely late or extremely early. I think this is this the very first normal time of the year? This might be. Were there any other games they played in the middle of the day? I guess I'll take the commercial break here to shamelessly plug myself. And if you are just tuning in to Mount Plum Speaks for the first time, first off, welcome in and appreciate you watching. Just started this podcast probably 4.5 weeks ago, and it's been growing like crazy, which super grateful to all you guys that have been watching. But I put out a ton of awesome content on YouTube. That's where my content all lives over there. And a lot of it I don't live stream. So if you are not subscribed there on YouTube, you're missing out on a lot of content. I put out all 22s. I do best ofs from the games for the Broncos, for the Buffs, pregame, postgame reports, scouting reports. Put out a ton of awesome content that lives over there on YouTube only. So if you wouldn't mind doing me a huge solid, go into the link in my bio if you're watching on Twitter, which I can see there's about 600, over 600 of you watching on Twitter right now. If you wouldn't mind, go and hit that link that's in my bio, go over to YouTube and hit subscribe. And then if you really want to do me a solid, help me grow my channel, hit like and comment on this video on YouTube right now. You'd be amazed what that does for the algorithm. So you'd be doing me a huge solid if you could do that. Colorado desperately needs to get big on this drive. You can't let Kansas march down the field again. They can't give them just 10 yards easy like that. They need to tighten up the coverage. I mean, even right there, close in, man. Your buddies are coming. I understand as a defensive back, you don't want to get overly aggressive on the tackle, but you can feel your buddies coming. Go make the damn tackle. That could have been a gain of a yard or two. Instead, we end up giving him 5. I got to update my scoreboard. I still got it in the first quarter. All right, there we go. Updated. Yep. And Kansas wisely is going to stay on the field. Well, it's only third down. I'm sorry. I thought it was fourth down. It's too easy. Every play's going for 5 to 8 yards. Every freaking play, 5 to 8 yards. This Colorado defense has been pretty damn good of late. But I'll tell you this, the one thing that this defense does not do, they don't change things up enough. They run the same coverage, same 2 or 3 coverages the entirety of the game. They're almost entirely a man coverage team, which when you've got ballers on the outside, it is the best defense to play. But I think Colorado can mix it up a little bit more. All right, there we go. Finally get a stop on first down. Kansas is playing all their home games at Arrowhead this year because they're renovating their stadium. Actually, I don't know if they're renovating or if they're building a brand new one. I'd be a bit surprised if they built a brand new one. They had one of those old school stadiums that still had the track around the outside. If I remember correctly. I gotta go get a coffee. I'm sleepy. Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator for Kansas, told you guys a little bit earlier. He was my offensive line coach my senior year at the University of Colorado. He was one of the hottest names in college football. And before the Buffs landed Deion Sanders, they tried to hire Grimes out of Baylor. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty certain Jeff Grimes actually turned down the CU job because he, like everybody else, looked at it like it was a hot mess. That's what happens when he plays much man coverage as the Buffs do, though. One missed tackle can turn into a huge gain. God damn it. Untouched. Colorado's got to get their stuff together now. They've got about one drive to try to save this thing. And if they don't get something going on this next drive, Kansas scores again, shoot. We're going to have big problems. Oh, man. Update my stupid scoreboard 17-0 Kansas. I knew I was worried about this one. I didn't think the Buffs would come out as flat as they are, though. I'll be right back. I'm going to go make a coffee. All right, you guys all leave me? No, nobody left. A bunch of people came. You guys just like watching an empty chair? All right, this is it. Though, why does this drive feel like this could literally be the game? I hate to go hyperbolic already, but if the Buffs can't get something going, you fall down by 3 scores early in the game, dude. College football's weird. In the NFL, that's an absolute death sentence. In college football, it's not. There's so many plays in college football. The Buffs average over 60 plays on offense. So there's always time to come back, but I've worried for a long time how this Buffs team is going to handle adversity. They've been having so much success of late. They just haven't been punched in the mouth. And there's a part of me that wish they got punched in the mouth a little bit more the last few games. Pat Shurmur, check this out. Pat Shurmur, who got run out of town here. Let's go. Let's go. Put the ball away, Shedeur. Shedur's got to go down at some point there, buddy. Hey, we don't need an extra 2 or 3 yards. We need you healthy. Pat Shurmur, who got run out of town twice out of here in Denver and has bounced around the NFL for 50 plus years, believe it or not, is a head coaching candidate in the NFL again next year. I've been seeing his name thrown out there. It makes a little bit of sense. If you wanted to get that package deal, Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders, and Deion chooses to stay put, I guess it makes a little bit of sense to go after Pat. That's what the Commanders did with Cliff Kingsbury. They got Cliff Kingsbury simply so that he could coach Jalen Daniels. All right, off to the races. Let's go. And just like that, number 12 could change a game. Just like that, number 12 could change the game. Strike the Heisman, buddy. Let's go. Strike it. They got so many freaking playmakers on the edge. They got wide receivers growing off of trees. I legitimately think CU's got 4 wide receivers that are going to be playing in the NFL next year. It's nuts. If this dude doesn't win the Heisman, it's an absolute joke. He's going to, though. So I don't know if you guys know anything about the All-Star games, the East-West Shrine game, hold on, let me change before I do anything, let me change that scoreboard. 7. That looks better. 17-7. I don't know if you guys know anything about the All-Star games, like the East-West Shrine game, the Senior Bowl, but Senior Bowl is obviously the premier one. I went to the East-West Shrine Bowl because I was not invited to the Senior Bowl, but I was thrilled to go to the East-West game. Well, the Buffs just announced something interesting this week. So there are 6 or maybe 7 Colorado Buffaloes that just announced they're going to go to the Shrine game, including Shedeur Sanders, which is fascinating. The Buffs have always been a we make our own rules type of team, and this is a prime example of it. Shedeur is passing on the Senior Bowl to go to the East-West game because he's going to be there with LeJounte Wester, with Will Shepard, with Cameron Silman Craig. Shiloh's going to be there. Jimmy's going to be there. There's 6 or 7 different Buffs that are all going to the East-West Shrine Bowl game. And Shedeur Sanders, forget it. I'll make my own rules. I don't need to go to the Senior Bowl. I might as well go play with my own guys, which he's definitely doing his boys a bigger favor than he's doing himself a favor, because it really doesn't matter what Shedeur does in the offseason. He'll be the first quarterback selected, maybe the second. But he's definitely doing his boys a solid by going to that bowl game with them. Did you guys go out Black Friday shopping? No thanks. Does anybody still go to stores on Black Friday when we've got Amazon deals? All right, just like that, the game feels a whole lot better. 17-7 feels a whole lot better than 17-0, don't it? Travis Hunt, that is a humble son of a gun, man. He is an extremely likable human being. Even going back to last year, I don't know if you guys remember when he took that big hit from the CSU kid. I think it was Henry Blackburn. Henry was getting all these death threats, and it was a dirty hit for sure, and knocked out Travis for a month or so. Travis invited him onto his podcast. They went bowling. They ended up becoming buddies. The dude is about as humble of a superstar as I've seen in a long time. All right, we'll see if we can get a stop here and really get the momentum. All right, I'll take it. 1st and 10, 2nd and 8. I still don't know if Travis Hunter will be able to go both ways at the next level. Not like the way he is now. I'm sure he'll go both ways to some degree, but most people seem to think he's best suited as a corner in the NFL, and I think he's better suited as a wide receiver. I mean, first off, you just look at the money that these wide receivers are making, and if you've got the choice to play wide receiver or defense, God dang it. Just another huge run for Kansas. Way too easy. If you've got the option to choose, you'd be nuts to choose to play corner. So what I would do, I'd draft him and figure it out. But in all likelihood, I'd make him an every down wide receiver, and then I'd put him as my nickel and dime on the defense, which you're still going to play a lot because in today's NFL, nickel and dime is more or less your base package, but at least gets him off the field a little bit when you go into base. Oh, Bob, this is just for you. Here you go, buddy. What freaking world are we living in right now? What world are we living in right now that the Big 12 championship implications are coming through Kansas and Colorado? You're welcome. Good afternoon, David Johnson. Appreciate you joining the stream. Go Buffs. Go Broncos. Broncos should freaking smash the Raiders tomorrow. I definitely am like an any given Sunday guy. Don't overlook any team. But when you look at the Raiders in depth, that is a bad football team. Like, I can't even figure out how they could beat the Broncos. And those are usually famous last words, but that is a bad team. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is looking like the old Buffs defense here. Looking like Swiss cheese. Run it right, run it left, get 10 yards every freaking time. Kansas goes with a bit of a wildcat formation. They decide they're going to move their quarterback over one slot over the guard. They bump the running back to the right so he's underneath center. I don't know why there's no real strategic advantage to that, but they do it anyways and it works. We need something bad. We need an interception. We need a fumble. I don't like that I'm looking for Kansas to make a bad move here rather than CU making one, but they need Kansas to make a mistake. All right, they're trying to get tough down here in the lower red zone. Got them back, third and goal. I guess you hold them to 3 points. You'll call that a win. I don't think Kansas, the quarterback, wants to play in third and long. I don't know if I would define this as third and long, but all right, got to stop. I'll live with it. I'll take it. College football these days, hold the team to 3. That could be considered a win. KU quarterback's athletic as hell, but he doesn't want to play in the pocket. All right, 20-7. Now we got to start going score for score. You let Kansas get out to a double score lead, and it's never been more important that you go score for score now. I got you guys see this hat I'm wearing right here? Funny little story about it. If you listen to my radio show, you already know this story, but I went to the bus game last weekend against Utah and went to the little pop-up tent in the field house, buy myself some gear, right? So I'm trying on stuff left and right. I'm trying on hats. I didn't wear a hat in, but I actually left it in my seat because I was planning on buying a hat. So I'm trying on t-shirts. I'm trying on hats. I tried this hat on first. Then I take it off. I'm trying on a bunch of t-shirts. I put on the t-shirts, take them off, and instinctively I just put my hat back on. So I go to check out and I bought myself a t-shirt and I didn't realize I was wearing a hat. I stole this hat from CU on accident and I didn't realize it all the way until I'm in the freaking car. I know, you figured it out in the car. I figured out in the car that I stole a hat. So I call around. I'm like, "Hey, what do I do about this hat? I can't. Nobody could tell me like who's in charge of the tent, whose merch it is." I called the bookstore the next day. Talked to some punk little girl. I'm like, "Hey, funny story. I stole a hat. I'm just trying to do the right thing here. I'm just trying to pay for my hat." She's like, "Sir, we've got nothing to do with the merchandise sold at the game. So I don't know what to tell you." I'm like, "Well, can you ask a manager? Because I literally have no clue who to talk to here." She's like, "Sir, best thing I could tell you, just enjoy your hat. Just enjoy your hat. Maybe buy something next time." So I feel like I did my duty. I stole a hat on accident. I tried to pay for it. But I mean, how many places I got to call to try to pay for it? Nobody send me to jail, please. I swear to you it was an accident. First rule of thievery, don't admit it on live stream. All right, he's got all day here. This is either going to be a big play or it's going to be a bad play. One of the two. Underthrows it. How many times a game does Shedeur Sanders look like he's got like 10 seconds running around the field like a chicken with his head cut off? At least 12 times. Is that Travis? Oh, that's Shedeur. Shedeur's down. Stop it. Don't play games with me, number 2. Yep. Hey, things are tight, Bob. Things are tight. Oh, that was a cheap shot. That was. They picked this up. That dude flat out went after his knees. God dang. That's a cheap son of a bitch right there. They picked that up. Thank God he's all right. Do we get our feet down on this? They're talking it over. All right, good. First down. Let's go. Puppy's getting jealous. He wants a little airtime. Say hi to Sammy. Sammy's a good boy. We don't deserve dogs. You ever think about it? Think about how miserable their life is. Just sit around all day, waiting for you to come home. They go nuts for 5 minutes when you walk in the door. Then you abandon them. They love you no matter what. This guy right here has gotten me through some hard times. I tell you what, he's a good boy. That's a catch. I mean, what are we waiting on? They're talking about the wide receivers. The Buffs have lost. Jimmy Horn's down. Omarion Miller got hurt. Omarion had a fantastic year last year. Ended up having to take a little bit of a back seat this year because they brought in Will Shepard. They got a few other guys, LeJounte, Jimmy Ward, and also Omarion Miller, who went from being featured last season, was buried on the depth chart. Well, he comes back to life after some injuries. Ends up playing at a super high level. He gets hurt. Now we got this kid, Draylon Miller, who they're calling Baby Debo out there. He pops up out of nowhere. Deion, I'm not gonna lie, Deion built this football team in the complete opposite way of how I personally would have done it. He built it from the outside in. He got himself playmakers and he said, I'll figure out the offensive line later. I definitely would build the team from the inside out, but I guess you can't question his tactics now. You look at the amount of playmakers they got. Every time someone goes down, someone else just steps in. Colorado's not a great running team, but they are a much more respectable running team than most people have any clue. And they've got very creative in the way that they run the football. The problem is you don't have to run the ball all game long, especially in today's college football, but you got 5 or 6 times per game that you got to run it. There's no choice. You got to run it, and they still haven't got to the point where they can pick it up on the must have it runs. Travis gets the ball in his hands again. I mean, why don't we just do this like we're playing Madden? Throw the ball to 12 every freaking play. When I played EA college football with my son, I just throw it to Travis Hunter every freaking play, and it works. All right, let's check out the box score. Kansas, Colorado box score. Let's do a little updating. Jalen Daniels from Kansas, 7 of 10 for 115 yards, 1 touchdown. Shedeur Sanders, 11 of 12, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. Nearly identical stats right there. Shedeur has got a higher completion percentage for sure. Travis Hunter's already got 90 yards on 4 catches. That's insane, man. And it feels like he hasn't even been a part of the game plan. He's got 90 yards on 4 catches. And they've not even been emphasizing the dude. Draylon Miller's got 2 for 21. LeJounte Wester's got 2 for 15. We are not even trying to run the football. Augusta's only got 1 carry for 6 yards. Welch has got 1 for 5. Hayden's got 3 for 2. And Shedeur's got 2 for 23. Kansas, on the other hand, they are running the football very effectively. Devin Neal's got 11 for 72. He's averaging 6.5 per. Savion Morrison's got 9 for 42. He's averaging 4.7. Yep. Kansas is playing ball the exact way they want to play ball. They're limiting their quarterback. He's only got 10 throws, and they're running the hell out of the football. That's how they want to play football. Why are you guys always ahead of me? Apparently, we got a touchdown. That's cool. Who's it go to? Touchdown. Baby Debo. He does have a little baby Debo build. If you look at him, he's short and stout. He's strong as hell. Draylon Miller. 2013. We got ourselves a ball game. Kansas better watch out now. I hope you enjoyed it, Kansas. Because we're coming. True freshman. That dude was playing it on redshirting until last week. In today's college football, it's weird. You can play X amount of plays and you can still redshirt. Back in the day when I was playing, if I played a single snap, that would break my redshirt. Draylon had been involved in a handful of games, but not enough that he was going to have to burn the red shirt. They decided just last week that they were going to go ahead and burn that thing. That's a hell of a catch right there. That's over the young man's head. Shedeur probably could have put that ball up a little bit higher, quite frankly. That was a great catch. He really does have Baby Debo vibe. I'm sure you guys are watching the broadcast right now also, but they're talking about the offers that Draylon Miller had. I mean, it's as legit as you get. Texas Tech, Ohio State, Texas A&M. He was a huge recruit. The Colorado Buffaloes are stealing kids from Ohio State, from Georgia, from USC. Deion Sanders, when it's all said and done, and I don't know how many years he's going to end up coaching college football, he's probably going to go down as the greatest recruiter in the history of college football. And that's what makes him so good right now. Look, college football is in a state of anarchy. And with all the conversations about Deion Sanders going to the NFL, I think the dude is smart enough to realize what is making it work for him right now. College football is in chaos, and Deion thrives in chaos. All these other coaches are getting headaches and migraines about the transfer portal, and Deion is thriving in the transfer portal. He is getting kids to come to see you because he's prime time, right? If he goes to the NFL, it doesn't work like that. You don't get kids to come to you that are 17, 18 years old that are attracted by flashy items and thrones that you get to sit in and fancy cars. They don't come to you because you're Deion Sanders and you've got flashy things. They come to you in the NFL because of free agency contracts, and free agency contracts are balanced by a salary cap. You don't get to recruit every single year. You get free agency, and that only comes about every 4 to 5 years for most players. Could Deion have success in the NFL? I'm sure he could, but he currently is thriving within the anarchy of college football, and he's going to go down as the greatest recruiter ever. One thing that doesn't get discussed enough, Deion Sanders got Travis Hunter to go to Jackson State. Travis was the number 2 overall recruit in the country by every outlet. Number 1 or number 2. He went to frickin' Jackson State. How the hell did he get him to go to Jackson State? Come on. I don't want this to be a track race. It feels like we're going to get a track race. Then again, just about every game in the NFL, in NCAA, is a track race. Yep, we do. We need the defense to step up big time. Little Brandon Stokely shout out here. Well, Michael, I haven't seen it, but I'm going to assume that means Kansas scores on this next play. Why am I always behind everybody? Oh, Jesus. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. Buffs are getting knocked on their ass left and right on that play. Watch the rewind on this thing. You got 2 or 3 different Buffs that flat out get knocked on their ass. Is this Travis Hunter? Oh, Travis gets knocked on his ass by the ref. Throw a flag. The refs are cheating. There might have been a slight amount of embellishment there. God dang it. I'm okay with the shootout, but I'm not okay with the shootout when the other team is running the football well. That is a bad recipe. A shootout with a running team? Shiloh Sanders can't tackle anyone. How many broken tackles this year do we have from Shiloh? Dude's constantly going for the big hit and he doesn't wrap up. Dang it. I mean, why would they put the ball in the air now? Just keep running it. You got first and goal from the 4-yard line, 3-yard line. All right, that's one down. 2 to go. General rule of thumb, when you're down there in the lower red zone, when you're at home, you try to run it in. When you're on the road, you try to throw it. Because it's hard for your offensive line to get off on the snap count on the road. So road teams, they throw it. When you've got a great QB, the easiest way to score in the red zone is to throw the football. But you got to have a great QB because everything tightens up. The safeties come down. It's easy to make bad plays. What is going on right now? What is taking so long? I'm trying not to read all your comments coming in right now because I know you guys are ahead of me. Stop it. Is that another? Oh. We didn't get the sack, nor did we get the interception. All right, 3rd and goal. 3rd and goal. How the hell does he not get him there? His knee's not down? Are we sure his knees aren't down on this one? I'm watching the Fox broadcast. I'm gonna restart this thing, see if that helps. All right, I just lost my feed. Let's see. Oh, I think it did. I just jumped forward like an entire play. All right, so Buffs have got the ball, but what happened? I didn't see because I restarted. How did we get the stop there? Oh, god dang it. I am way jacked up now. Now my broadcast is on the first. What the hell is going on here? I don't think they're going to overturn that. I don't think his knee was down. I want it to be. All right. What the hell takes? Seriously, what takes so long here? It was an incomplete pass. All right, they finally realized what everybody else realized 5 minutes ago. What a big play this is, man. What a freaking huge play. I bet they go for it either way, though, even if they get stopped. Come on. Get big, boys. Bad throw. I told you they don't want that dude throwing the football. They don't want that dude throwing the ball. Travis actually got beat on that, though, I think. Let's see. Yeah, they got him a little bit. They had what they wanted. Just bad throw from the QB. Are they kicking the field goal? That's scared, man. That's scared coaching. You're not going to beat Colorado kicking field goals. I promise you that. All right, I swear to you, I said that before the announcer said that. I swear on my life, I said that before the announcer. You guys think I'm just copying the announcer? I just texted Brock Heward 2 seconds ago, and the dude apparently can multitask because he responded to my text in the middle of a drive. I was calling him out for wearing a corduroy jacket. Well, now what do? They still don't take. I mean, the general rule of thumb is you don't take points off the board, but that's freaking. They're scared, man. They got an opportunity to shorten that field up and go for the touchdown. Yes, Brock does still live here. Brock does he does a radio show in Seattle, does the morning show in Seattle, but he does it from his house here in Denver. He moved here to Denver maybe 3 years ago, something like that. His son Titus is a freshman at Valor High School. Brock's been kind enough to help out my son who wants to play quarterback. My son is raw as hell, his first year ever playing football, but he was kind enough to let my son come work out with him and Titus over the summer. His son Titus, first off, his name is Titus, and he looks like a Titus. He's a 6'5" freshman quarterback at Valor with a freaking cannon of an arm. I keep waiting on my kids to hit their growth spurt. It has not happened yet. All right. Well, take a knee, go into halftime. No reason to throw a Hail Mary here. Just something bad could happen. But you go into halftime down 23-14, and I can live with it. I could live with this. It didn't feel good there in the first quarter, but the Buffs started settling down offensively. They strung together a couple nice drives. Defensively, they got 2 huge stops in the red zone. So they gave up a lot of ground, especially on the ground. Kansas is running the football very, very well. But the CU team got tough in the lower red zone, held them to 2 field goals, which is why we've still got a ball game here. Had Kansas even scored one of those as a touchdown, we've got a very different feel to this game. But down 23-14, that's nothing in college football. Buffs are in good shape. Certainly would prefer that they've got the lead, but they don't. So now they got to handle a little adversity. It's been a long time since this Buffs team has had adversity, and now they've got it. They're gonna have to get big. They gotta slow down the running game. They gotta stop letting Kansas eat up so much clock every time they've got the football. And offensively, they need to start eating up a little bit of their own clock. Stay on the field. Get this defense off the field. Keep them a little bit more fresh. It's gonna be really important for this Colorado offense to play a little bit of time of possession. Play that game a little bit. All right, we got halftime, so I'm gonna take myself a little halftime break. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back soon. All right, welcome back. Appreciate you guys hanging out during the halftime break there. All right, let's recap things here a little bit. A lot on the line for the Colorado Buffaloes here. But if the Buffs get a win against Kansas in this game, which they are now trailing at halftime, and it is not an ideal situation, if they already get a win in this game, and I should check in on their scores because I have no idea what's going on, but if BYU and Iowa State were to lose, Colorado could clinch a berth in the Big 12 championship. If either one of those teams do not lose, and you need them both at some point, then Colorado has to win out to make the Big 12 championship. Will, in all likelihood, face off against either BYU or Arizona State. But we are officially at a point that you can't overlook a 4-win University of Kansas team. Look, Kansas coming into this game scared the hell out of me the entire week. Kansas is the hottest team in the Big 12, and they've only won 4 games. How could that possibly be? Well, they're coming off a huge win against number 17 BYU. The week before that, they are coming off a huge win against Iowa State. And all of a sudden, they knocked off the 2 top leading contenders in the Big 12. They only beat BYU 17-13, but they smoked Iowa State. They smoked Iowa State 42-14. Week before that, they lost a real close one to Kansas State. Kansas State has kind of fallen off the map here a little bit. That is the one game you look back for the Buffs, and you're like, that game could haunt Colorado because they absolutely could have beat K-State. But K-State was a good football team at the time. So this Kansas team, they're figuring things out. They run the hell out of the football. Their offensive coordinator is Jeff Grimes, a guy that I know very, very well. He's always been committed to running the football. And now the challenge for the Buffs in the second half is going to be, can they start eating up some time of possession themselves on offense? Because my fear is that this Colorado defense is going to get worn down. When running teams are able to eat up the clock, what happens? KU's already had some big runs in this game. But what happens when you keep running the football and you keep that time of possession up, now at some point, that dam is just going to crack on defense, and you're going to start giving up big runs left and right. So the Buffs are going to have to walk a fine line of trailing by 10 points, having to get scores, but they also need to eat up a little bit of time of possession on offense just to give their defense a break here. This is the biggest game Colorado's had in, I don't know, decades. You got everything on the line, and it's all going through Kansas at Arrowhead Stadium. Pretty wild. Man, how freaking long are these halftime breaks? Feels like we've been out for 15 minutes. All right, let's kill a little time here. I need a new TV show. Can you guys help me out? What are you guys watching right now? And you got to dig deep because I'm pretty sure I've seen almost every TV show that's ever been made. But the last 3 or 4 nights I've been searching. I don't have anything. You guys got any shows for me? What are we watching? I just watched The Territory on Netflix, which is a Yellowstone knockoff in Australia. That was pretty good. And now there's another knockoff along the same lines. I think it's called The Landman on Amazon Prime, but that's only had 2 episodes, I think. So I've been watching those. Those are good, but I need a new TV show. What are you guys watching? Nobody's watching anything. You guys hate me. All right, let's see if I can find college football scores here. Oh, Arizona State's smoking BYU right now, so that's interesting. They're losing 21-3 in the third quarter. So that is one piece of the puzzle that Colorado need. If Colorado can pull off an upset here and come back and win, I don't know if you'd call it an upset, but if they can pull off the comeback victory against Kansas, they need BYU and Iowa State to both lose. Iowa State plays Utah at 5:30 tonight, but BYU is doing their part. BYU has not looked very good. They're still ranked number 14 in the country, but they've not looked good the last few weeks. All right. So BYU lost 17-13 to Kansas last week. They barely snuck one out against a bad Utah football team, 22-21 the week before. And they're currently losing 21-3 with 8 minutes left in the third against Arizona State. Job Kenny Dillingham has done down there at ASU has been pretty impressive. All right, checking in on the box score, halftime box score for CU versus Kansas. Shedeur Sanders is 12 of 13, 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kansas's quarterback, Jalen Daniels, 10 of 16, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. So pretty similar in air yards. You would expect Colorado to be nearly double what Kansas does in the air, but on the ground is where Kansas is just absolutely killing us right now. Let's see. So Kansas has got rushing yards. Good Lord, man. Kansas has 199 yards rushing in the first half. That ain't good. CU's got 35. That's how you beat an explosive offense. Colorado's got one of the more explosive offenses in college football. How do you beat that? Time of possession on the other side. And the time of possession in this game, 21 minutes to Kansas versus 8:59 to the Buffaloes. So they've had the ball 3 times as much as CU has had it. That needs to change. Juju Lewis, the quarterback that just committed to the Buffs 2 days ago. Somebody was live streaming his game on Twitter last night, his high school game. Oh my Lord. That dude went frickin' off. I also saw some highlights from Bryce Underwood, the number 1 recruit that just committed to Michigan. I don't know if you guys have followed that story at all, but Bryce Underwood, who is the universal number 1 recruit, an absolute freak of nature. He had been committed to LSU. He flips to Michigan of all places. Why? How does he flip to Michigan? Because they promised him $10.5 million in the first 2 years. The deal he was promised by Michigan be up to $20 million. Freaking high school kid just got promised up to $20 million to go play for Sharon Moore. God dang. CU doesn't have money like that. I'm sure Julian Lewis is getting a pretty penny to come to CU, but it ain't that. There's actually more people in the stands at Arrowhead than I've ever seen in the stands for a KU football game at home. Shoot. Yeah, this game's yes, I did say Arrowhead. This game's being played at Arrowhead because Kansas is renovating their stadium right now, so they're playing all their home games at Arrowhead. Arrowhead's probably, I'd guess it's about 45 minutes from Lawrence. We would always stay at Overland Park when I would play University of Kansas, and we would stay at Overland Park when I would play the Chiefs also. Overland Park is right between the two. And we drop the kickoff. But we get a big gain. Let's go. Take this sucker. Let's go. All right. Falls down at the 42, 48. I mean. All right. Great start. God dang, those white uniforms look clean for CU, don't they? Compare those to that eyesore that Kansas is wearing. Oh, is it no longer Arrowhead? I thought it was Giha at Arrowhead. All right, come on, Buffs. Little dump off. This should go for a good. That should be a good gain, and it is. Eat up a little time on this possession, please. Those little dump offs in the passing game, that's Colorado's version of the run game. Nobody runs more screens in college football than University of Colorado. Jordan Seaton's fine there. Shedeur just has to get a better angle. You couldn't ask for more from 77. We have 54. The Buffs, I think he's the right tackle. How skinny does that dude look? Colorado's trying to get the right tackle their future to flip from USC with Juju. That was a nice pickup right there. Really nice. Shedeur Sanders is not the most athletic dude, but he's athletic enough. Certainly does not have Deion Sanders' athleticism. But just athletic enough. He almost always picks up 2 or 3 first downs per game with his feet. Like Kobe Bryant that they're talking about right now. He's one of the best corners in America. Really good player. Got all freaking day. Great protection. If we take a sack here, that's on you, number 2. What are we doing? What are we doing? God dang it, Shedeur Sanders. Is this not going to be intentional grounding? I think this probably should be intentional grounding. He's inside the box. There was no receiver within the area, not even close to the line of scrimmage. God dang it, Shedeur. That's bad ball, man. That is bad ball from number 2. He cannot do that. Shedeur's in a bad habit of doing this, man, and he gets away with it far more often than he gets punished. Oh my God, we get away with it because of a stupid holding foul on Kansas. Offsetting penalties. Thank the good Lord above. Shedeur, you can't. Don't start chirping at others now, Shedeur. That's on you, buddy. I mean, it definitely was a hold, but a little bit cheap. Let's go. Let's fricking go. All right, baby. All right, baby. Strikes the Heisman again, as he should. Travis Hunter have an enormous game. He was already having a huge game. Picks himself up another touchdown here. Let's see. Let's check out Travis Hunter's stats. Well, it hasn't updated yet. Hold on. They got him 5 for 89. And 1 touchdown. All right. That was a great drive. Okay. First off, you score a touchdown. Let me update my scoreboard here. +6, +1, make that 23-20. That scoreboard's looking a little bit better. It was a great drive. You end up with points, but even more importantly, for Colorado, that was a relatively long drive. Other teams, it could be a short drive, but Colorado scores so quickly, they're able to keep Kansas off the field a little bit. All right, let's take the sucker over now. All right, now Travis Hunter's stats finally updated. 6 for 115, 2 touchdowns. 115 yards on 6 catches is nuts, man. Means he's averaging about 20 per. Little under. Do your dogs just sit at your hip all day long? I swear this dog is terrified to be with outside of a 5-foot radius of me. Sammy, look up. Look up. Say hi. Say hi. All right, come on. BYU's getting smoked. Who does Iowa State play again? Who does Iowa State play? Let's look it up. Oh yeah, they play Utah. 5:30 tonight. BYU loses, CU wins, Iowa State loses, and we clinch. Appreciate you guys watching. I know there's a handful of people that are live streaming the game right now. So you guys got options out there, but Mount Columbus is growing quickly, and I couldn't do it without you guys. So super grateful for the support on my new podcast, Mount Columbus Speaks here. I can't believe I've become such a media whore that I'm actually doing live watch-alongs, but you know what? I am a whore. Be pretty fun to be the equipment guy for the Buffs right now. That'd be a fun job. Ordering new gear every single week, designing new gear. The stuff that Dion wears, they usually don't even sell it. They usually make it just for Deion Sanders. Can you imagine the amount of money that CU could make if they released the sweatshirt that Dion was wearing like every single game? Like, hey, here's the game day swag this week. Buy this. People would scoop it up. They'd make millions of bucks every weekend. New release every weekend. Travis, they're just showing the odds. Travis is a landslide according to Vegas, to win the Heisman. Absolute landslide. That's a hold. Finally, they throw the flag. Back it up, back it up. Don't do that, Kansas. That is a hell of a second effort right there from Wester. Gets held, gets his ass back up, and still makes the tackle. Oh, that's interesting. Declining the penalty. That's, well, I don't like this call right here. Back him up to second. Why are we declining the penalty? Why are we doing that? 1st and 20 versus 2nd and 11? Please, God dang it! What why would we do that? That's flat out arrogant right there. You don't decline a penalty on first. What are we doing? We got another flag down, so hopefully this goes against Kansas. That was stupid. Looks like it's going to go against CU on the horse collar. Is this a horse collar? Show it already. Had a chance to have a TFL there. Instead, turns into a huge gain, and we get the penalty. Yeah, it's pretty legit horse collar. I mean, it's not an aggressive horse collar, but he's definitely got his hand on the back of his neck. And now Kansas backs it up. 3 penalties in a row. Put the flags back in your pocket, refs. Let's go. Kansas does a lot of pre-snap motion. If you watch it, not a play goes by that Kansas doesn't have at least 1 or 2 guys in motion. They said earlier that they track the GPS of one of their wide receivers, and he runs 12 miles a game just in motion. The hire of Robert Livingston was by far the best thing that Deion has done. You know, Robert had never done the job. He'd never been a defensive coordinator. The best job he'd ever had in his life was being the safeties coach for the Bengals. But the real dude that Deion was trying to get was Mike Zimmer. Obviously, an old timer, legend, been around for 50 plus years. Well, Mike decides he doesn't want to. Do we get an interception? Oh my God. If Travis got that interception, the Heisman's a wrap. He couldn't get Mike Zimmer, his original target. So he asked Mike, "All right, who's one of your disciples? Who do you like? Who should I look at?" Mike ends up recommending Robert Livingston, and the job he has done at CU in an era that it's nearly impossible to play defense in college football has been nothing but tremendous. And our run defense is absolute freaking Swiss cheese, man. You cannot let Kansas control the time of possession. They will win the game if you allow them to eat up 6-7 minutes every single time they touch the ball. Let me eat some nibs. These are my favorite candy. Obviously, Kansas would prefer to have a bigger lead here. I'd be feeling great if I'm Jeff Grimes. If I'm that offensive coordinator for Kansas, every possession is going the exact way I want it to. Eating up time and running the damn ball. Let's look at the team rushing yards again, because at halftime, Kansas had 199 yards on the ground, and that's already up to 232 after a possession of football in the second half. Buffs are on track to give up close to 400 yards on the ground. And nobody even tries to run the football in college anymore. None of you guys sent any show recommendations, by the way. I'm looking for a new show. Turnover would be nice, my friend. Be very nice. My stupid neighbors, nice people. I'm looking at him right now. He's had his Christmas lights up for like 2 weeks already, and he's out there adding more decorations to the front yard. Can we get through Thanksgiving first? I'm a big advocate of getting the lights on the house before Thanksgiving and flipping it like the day after Thanksgiving, but I'm anti-Christmas lights before Thanksgiving. One holiday at a time here, folks. It's so good that Kansas got those sun shields over their benches. What would they do without those sun shields today? Shut up, Skinner. That was a good no call. Most of the times that is the case, but this dude is an absolute holiday freak. He's a psycho about Halloween. He's a psycho about Christmas, and I think it's him. Colorado is a very vanilla defensive team. They run the same coverage the entire game. They're man to man, 9 out of 10 snaps. So I don't mind them trying to change things up here a little bit in the second half. Although, if you've got the luxury of running man to man, it's by far the best way to play defense. It's too easy. Defense has got to get their stuff together here, man. God dang it, Shiloh. Oh, I'm pretty sick of Shiloh Sanders making mistakes, man. You got a D on your chest that says you're a dog. Be a dog and stop hurting your team. CU doesn't do captains. Nobody has a C on their chest. They do L's and D's, leaders and dogs. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't define Shiloh as a bad football player. He's not a bad football player. He's a pretty good football player, but I think there would be pretty legitimate competition if his dad wasn't the coach. I'll give CU credit for this. They've been Swiss cheese in the open field, but they've gotten tough down there in the lower red zone. Let's see if they can get tough again. Keep Kansas to 3 points. That'd be a huge win. All right, 3rd and short. Did they already score, Michael? What does that mean? They already score? We only got. I don't like having 2 linebackers in the box. Yep, they do score. You are way freaking ahead of me. God dang it. Worst case scenario. They just ate up. I think they just ate up 4.5 minutes, if I remember correctly. 4.5 minutes, march down the field, end up with points. And now every possession matters. I mean, Colorado did their best to get tough down there, even on that scoring play. Pretty good job from Selman Craig. Sorry, easy for me to say. I went ahead and give them the extra point there. Yeah, Shiloh's only chance playing in the NFL is if his dad becomes a head coach. He'll get invited to a camp. He'll have a chance to make a practice squad, but he'll have to earn his way onto a team. I'm so nervous. Colorado's never had more on the line in their life. Sure wish CU could have played Kansas earlier in the year. Kansas is now up to 259 yards on the ground, whereas CU's got 46. I mean, Kansas is dominating in almost every single category right now. They've got 400 yards to CU's 243. I mean, they're slightly down in passing yards. CU's got 197 to Kansas 143. But rushing yards, Kansas 259, CU 46. First downs in this game, Kansas has got 20. That's crazy, actually. A lot of times you don't get 20 first downs in an entire game. Kansas has got 20 first downs halfway into the third. Third down efficiency, one of the most important stats in the game. Kansas is 6 of 10. Anytime you can hover over 50%, that's a really good third down game. CU is 1 of 3. Kansas is 1 of 1 on 4th down. CU 0 of 1 on 4th down. And total plays, Kansas has doubled CU. 54 total plays to 27. Both teams have got a reasonable amount of penalties. CU's got 4 penalties for 30 yards. Kansas has got 3 for 25. My gut tells me the second half comes down to which team doesn't have an interception, which team doesn't have a fumble. First team to make a mistake, to make a turnover, probably loses this game. Pretty unusual to not have touchbacks. Kansas kicker apparently does not have a leg. What the hell is a chesty lion? Another made up mascot, just like a Jayhawk. You guys do know a Jayhawk is not a real bird, right? There's no such thing as a Jayhawk. Let me know when you see a Jayhawk in the wild. They're showing Cash Cleveland there. That young man has been tremendous. I don't know if you guys know anything about his story. He's a walk-on true freshman. Took over as the start as he gives up a sack. He almost gives up a sack right as I'm talking about him. But he's a walk-on true freshman. Took over the starting role maybe 3 weeks ago. What was the game before Texas Tech? I think it was that one. And he's done a really good job. He's from the same school as Jordan, as our left tackle. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Anyways, they both went to IMG out there in Florida, Football Factory. Yes, I just popped a little lip pillow. Don't judge me. Got a little action after this one. I think that was a busted play for CU. Something was way jacked up there. I think it was actually supposed to be a bubble screen to the left, but because that snap took Shedeur to the right, the timing got all off schedule and he could never get it out to the left. Pretty sure that was supposed to be a bubble screen. And we got another flag. Can it? It's probably on Kansas. I don't know that it's going to matter, though. I think they not on Kansas. I don't like it, ladies and gentlemen. I do not have a good vibe with the most important game the Buffs have had in a decade. Doesn't feel good. I don't know about you guys as a Buff fan. Even when things have been as good as they've been for the last few months, I still just got this like negative aura in my body that's been waiting for something bad to happen. And that negative energy is just brewing in my stomach right now. If Colorado can get past Kansas, they should cruise past Oklahoma State next week and into the Big 12 championship. We got to get past this one first. CU's got to change something on defense on this next drive. They're running down your throats. Load the box. Dare them to throw it. Fine. Make them beat you a different way. You know they're going to run it down your throats. Let's load up the box. Let's dare them to throw it. Famous last words, a lot, I know, but got to do something. We're just doing male strip shows on Fox now. Putting that on broadcast television, male strip shows. God dang, these flags. Can we just play football? I'm not blaming the refs. A lot of these, the refs don't have a choice on, but good Lord, can we just get the football game going? Shador probably did get a little bit lucky when he pushed the ref there. Did they not call it down? The umpire didn't call it down. He was the one that was right there. He didn't blow his whistle. The side judge called it down. I mean, he's definitely down, but all right, backed him up. So, well, we didn't back him up, but held firm on 2nd and 6, 3rd and 4. They're definitely not in 4-down territory. So they keep talking about Jeff Grimes liking to run the football on 3rd and long. I'd be shocked if he puts the ball on the ground here. You've got the luxury on 3rd down putting the ball on the ground when you know it's already in 4-down territory, but this is not 4-down territory. They very well might. No. God dang it, man. Are we getting a targeting on this also? Shiloh's like Kareem Jackson, man. He's good for one a game. Well, Let's see. That's not targeting. That is not. I mean, he did everything in his power to get his head out of that thing. He does end up hitting side to side, but that was not crown of the helmet by any means. Incidental, maybe, but that is far from targeting. He turns his shoulder in, he gets his head sideways. They do end up colliding their helmets on the side. Yeah, and I agree with Brock. I don't think that's even a defenseless receiver right there. He's already made a football move. They got to overturn this. This little water girl is getting a lot of airtime. I mean, easy on the celebrations, Shiloh. Easy on the celebrations. They're cutting through you like Swiss cheese right now. I'm glad you're still in the game, buddy, but I'm not sure now it's time to be celebrating. We need a damn stop is what we need. They're going to do the same old Wildcat move, but this time they're going to hand it off and have a trick play. I saw that coming all the way. God dang it, I knew they were going to do that. They set it up down there earlier in the game with the exact same Wildcat. They motioned their quarterback over to the right guard. They snapped the ball to the wide receiver. I mean, it's good looking design. Got to give Kansas credit on it. Now we're going option football, and they're going to lose 4. It's just so much time every time they get it. It makes it hard on the Colorado. I mean, obviously, it makes it hard on the Colorado defense, most importantly, but that makes it hard on the offense, too. When you're sitting on the bench, come in cold every time you got a new possession, you're trying to get warmed up again. Can you guys hear my neighbor doing more Christmas lights? It's loud as hell. What are you doing out there? All right, boys and girls, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me here. I got to jump off for a little bit. I'm going to jump back on for a little post-game reaction. So please stay tuned. If you're not subscribed to Mount Plumbus Speaks, please click the link in my bio on Twitter right now and go subscribe over on YouTube so you don't miss out on anything. But I will be back, so please tune back in when you see me go live again. I'll do a post-game reaction. I got to go handle a few things then. Until then, let's cross our fingers, hope and pray the bus